everyone. You're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends recap romance novels while giggling, snorting, and making spooky ghost sounds. I want to start this week out by thanking everyone who's already filled out our survey. Our beakers runneth over. If you haven't gotten the chance to help us become scientists in 2022, the link to our listener survey is in the show notes. We would so appreciate your thoughts. Now, I just found out about an amazing project that I have to tell you about. Just to be clear, this is not an ad. This is just Melody being excited about romance, doing cool shit. So there are 36 authors who have gotten together to create a charity anthology called Romance for Roe. Most of these stories are full-length novels, and 3 of them feature characters getting an abortion and then living their HEA. It's huge. You're getting 20 contemporary, 8 historical, and 8 speculative romances from authors like Eva Lee, Elizabeth Bright, and Susanna Nix. All you have to do is donate to Planned Parenthood or NARAL because they're trying to support the legal battles currently defending Roe versus Wade and Griswold versus Connecticut. And forward your donation receipt emails to romanceforroe@gmail.com. So you don't give Romance for Roe any money, you don't give the authors any money, you donate to these organizations, let them know about your donation, and then you get a book funnel link for the almost 6,500 pages these authors are donating. So head to romanceforroe.com to get all of the details. I'm obsessed. Please support them. All right. It's spooky season, HBs, which means it's our annual Halloween book. So put on your masks and grab your buckets, because it's all treats and only the sexiest tricks with The Ex Hex by Erin Sterling.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
It's our spooky episode.
Ghosts and vampires and witches.
Yeah, oh my. We're not in Kansas anymore, everyone. That's how that goes, right?
Spooky town.
It's spooky over here.
We try so hard every year, and every year it's just flat.
You know what, though? There are ghosties in this one. There are witches. There are... You did a good job picking this one.
There are witches and a ghost.
And there's a curse. There's like a deadly curse.
There's a curse for sure. There's a talking cat.
There are ley lines.
Yeah, ley lines.
There is that talking cat.
It's a very spooky good. And it takes place at Halloween, which is good.
That's what I'm saying.
I was starting to be nervous about it because I had wanted to read that other YA book. And then I wasn't certain. Even after reading all of the Goodreads reviews and all of the spoilers and talking to everyone I knew who had read it, I still couldn't figure out if it was a fucking romance.
Right.
And then I was like, let's just do this. And then I saw that all of the other podcasts are also doing this book. And then I was like, man, Erin screwed it up again with the book choice. And
no
then I
way.
read it, and I loved it. I thought
it's getting chosen for a reason, Meng.
I thought it was fantastic. What a
Same
fun
here.
time.
What
I
a fun
wouldn't trade
romp.
it for the world. It was a romp. It was super fun and funny.
Yeah.
It was great. I haven't liked a book in a while. This was great. Loved it.
It was really fun.
And I just binged season 12 of Archer, and I was really looking for something with big Archer energy. I think we texted about this. And this really scratched that itch, too.
Big Archer energy.
It's just like a hot dummy who like doesn't plan for anything, but it just works out for him all the time. Love that. Love it. Like, I love that when they went to that cave, he didn't even look at the map. He's like, they drew me a map, but like, whatever, I'll figure it out.
Fuck that, though. It's no, if everybody else can.
Love it.
Everybody else found it.
In fiction. Love it.
In fiction. Not in real life.
Not in life.
No. It gives me a big competence flaccid in real life.
Yeah, but there were competence boners in this thing, too.
Hard.
Wait, before we start, Can I tell you a spooky story?
I love a spooky story.
You already know this, but Rooster's got to get all her teeth pulled, and I wanted to tell listener. You guys, Rooster, hey listener.
She's going to be the spookiest.
She's going to be the spookiest dog because she's going to have no teeth at all. They're pulling
She's going to be
all of the teeth. And I made a social media announcement about this, and everybody's all poor Rooster about it. And I want to tell you friends, fucking stop. This is Rooster's dream. Not having any teeth is her dream. All she's wanted her whole life is to only eat wet food and just get Cheese Whiz shot into her mouth. Like, she's always wanted to not have to chew anything. So this is...
Right.
She couldn't have planned it better.
This is exactly what she wants.
She's probably going to sell the teeth. God, it's going to be so gross and weird.
Oh my God, she is. She totally is. And she'll do it as, like, some like... ancient canine artifact. Yeah,
she's not going to say. It's not going to say old dog teeth. It's not going to be that.
No.
Ugh. Arrowhead
found the teeth of the first canine goddess. $6, please.
The stink of them is magical in some way. Repel your enemies. Yep. Anyway.
Wow. Good for Rooster.
Shark's
She's
teeth.
Living
She'll
her
say.
Dream. Oh, shark's teeth.
Tiny chipped.
Yeah.
Organs. Anyway, so that's
real.
what's going on in my house.
I love it.
And because Rooster is going to eat wet food from here on out, Goat now has to eat wet food from here on out. Or otherwise, Rooster will get the shit kicked out of her every single day.
Yeah, Goat will.
So this is really a boon for Goat, too.
Oh, wowza.
All right.
Okay, so we got to talk about this book.
Yeah.
Because Ex Hex.
Ex Hex.
We're X and Hexes. No, fuck. We're Hex and X's.
We're hexing them.
And that's where we start. We start with 19-year-old. She's brokenhearted, and she is in the bath, goddess that she is. She's like, I'm taking my broken heart, and I'm going to the bath.
She's got candles. She's got bathtubs.
She's got
She's doing a soak.
A whole cranberry vodka situation.
She's drinking.
And the very first line of this book is, don't mix vodka with magic, I think. Something like that.
Something like that.
And boy, are they gonna... mix vodka and magic.
One thing I did like about this book is that these witch sisters do embrace all of the really basic lady witch attire and pumpkin fall thing.
Yeah, they lean in hard.
Yeah, they lean in very hard to the novelty t-shirts, which I really like.
Yeah, same.
One of which is don't mix magic and vodka.
Yeah. So she's like in her bathtub and she has, I'm going to say it, she's a fucking ding-dong, is what she is.
Why?
Sorry. Because she just had this fight with her dream guy. They've been together all summer. She's 19. He is a famous witch boy from Wales. And they met and started boning down immediately. Was love at first sight.
They met at a summer solstice party.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You
Started
meet anybody at a
down.
summer solstice party, it's fucking fate. Ask Feyre and Rhysand. Okay, everybody.
It's fate. She was wearing a flower crown.
You just jug the fairy wine and then you dance your face off. That's what happens.
Tits out.
Tits out dancing.
So... they got in a fight because they'd been together all summer, all hot and heavy, and then he told her that he did have a betrothed.
No, she says that he told her he was engaged.
Right.
Which he does not, we find out. What he says is, I need to fuck off to Wales just for a minute, just to tell my dad that like I am betrothed, and so I'm gonna tell my dad to fuck off about that. And she's like, you're engaged, and like throws his pants at him and calls him a fucker neck, which I really
loved it.
I really vibed with hard.
I see how 19-year-old what's her face was upset about how he
you
hadn't
asked
told
zero
her this.
questions. Come on.
Well, yeah, but like also this whole time they're boning down and there's some like lady out there that thinks she's gonna marry him. He's committing infidelity this whole time.
No, he's not.
But she doesn't know that.
I don't know. When you use a very specific word like betrothed,
he's Welsh. He probably uses all kinds of weird ass words.
Okay, fair. Like cariad or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever the fuck. That's a whole different language out there.
It is. You're right. Okay, so maybe I'll cut this bitch some slack.
Yeah. She even says how he uses fancy words, and she's like betrothed is one of the fancy words he uses.
So her cousin's like, fuck that dickbag. Let's curse him. Because they're both drunk.
It's drunk. Curse.
Just drunk. We gotta curse him. And Guinevere, the cousin, is sick of her, like, mooning about and making his cologne come out of midair and stuff like that. And so she's like, you know what we gotta do? We gotta help you over this hump. We gotta curse this motherfucker, and then you can move on. So they do a circle with some salt and stuff, and they sit down, and they're like, let's make sure that his hair never looks good again.
No, make sure that his hair never does the thing that his hair does.
Yeah.
Whatever that thing is. Whatever the hot thing that his hair does, it never does it again.
The hot thing is. Don't let him do it anymore.
And he will never darken the vagina or the door of our... They say that.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He will never darken...
Door or the vagina.
What's our girl's name?
Of Vivian.
Vivian's... Yes, he will never darken her door. And then the drunk cousin's like, or your vagina.
Your vagina.
And what else did they curse him? To never find the clitoris ever again. To be always 1/3 of an inch away from, where the actual clitoris is.
Oh
when they're older, she's like, yeah, that curse, like, the clitoris part really, like... curses the women.
Cursing him.
It's not really about him. Should have thought that through.
Like, maybe say that he can, like, never go to completion again. Like, you know?
Yeah, he
like,
can't.
He's
like,
always
may no woman ever find, like, his sweet spot ever again.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, at the very end, she's like, I curse you, Reese Penhallow. And then, like, weird shit happens because the very polite candle turns into this torch.
Wind.
And with the shutters go everywhere, and they're like, what the fuck just happened?
Because it's not a real curse. They were just joking around.
Yeah. They weren't doing anything. Anyway, so they're like, that was weird. All right, let's go on with our lives.
Yeah.
And then so chapter 1 is 9 years later.
9
which
years
I was shocked
so
by.
long.
It's so long. Yeah,
but,
she's 28 now.
At least because it was college times, I felt a little bit... I feel like we have so many books that are like a 16-year-old and then a 25-year-old. Or it's like mid-teens to like early or mid-20s. And those always squick me out because I'm like, the mid-teens are not a time where you can look back and be like, that boy and I, why, that was the true love times of my times. And then like early to mid-20s is also not a great sweet spot to be like, and not now great. That I'm grown, I will make the decision.
At least for me, not great.
Oh God, every time I say shit, every time I say shit like this, we get emails from people who married their high school sweethearts.
Oh my God, listen,
good
we know it
you.
happens. But like, you're an anomaly.
You're the weird ones. I'm sorry. Okay.
Sorry. It's just numbers. We're scientists now.
We're scientists.
And we can firmly tell you.
We run the numbers. And we can
datas.
tell you, congratulations, you guys are anomalies.
You're a goddamn snowflake couple. So, we love it for you.
This one is 19, which I feel like is a little bit older. It's not like her very first encounter with anyone ever, you know? Right. And then we get her 28 in the book, which is just like a smidgen more mature. Like, I feel like, you know.
I was doing okay at 28.
I was doing okay. I guess.
I feel like I had maybe even paid off my loans at that point. Who knows?
I think so, yeah.
I can't remember. I feel like I did, but I can't really remember. I may have been I was firmly pregnant when I was 28, so I wasn't drinking. I wasn't doing anything fun when I was pregnant. Anyway. Okay, so now we're 9 years later, and Rhys has gone back to his castle in Wales because he is a witch prince. And he hates his dad.
Also, we call boys witches, and the dad during this conversation says something about how he's a very powerful warlock, and Rhys is like, no, we don't say warlock anymore. Everybody is witches now. And I just really...
I loved it.
I just really felt it in my bones, and like a whole different made up witch culture that like the dad is still using like an archaic term that like delineates the genders in a way that's not, you know, cool anymore. And Rhys is like, oh God, just like everybody's Dad. Witches. Like, why do we have to do this? Oh, it's so
figure
funny.
it out.
Anyway, he hates his dad.
Yeah, and the dad is like, you're gonna go back to Graves Glen, that place in Georgia where you did break that girl's heart.
Yes.
And you're gonna charge up the ley lines.
Well, and because it's also Founders Day, And we did found our family, our powerful witch family, did found that
300 years ago
town in Georgia. Is this a thing? Like, is Founders Day a thing? I did not think this was a thing outside of Vampire Diaries and like maybe a Gilmore Girls, which is a show I've never seen, but it seems like it would be like that.
I don't remember a Founders Day for
Somebody said there was another
Valley.
Founders Day in like CW
Starlight
fiction.
Plaza?
Stars Hollow?
Right. Stars Hollow.
But anyway, I just thought this was something that existed in like CW fiction.
Yeah.
And not the world. But maybe it does. Maybe it's a South thing that I don't understand.
Maybe. Founders Day.
In my hometown, Founders Day would be the guy that like fled another town because he was like doing incest, I think, and then believed sorry, you don't have to include this. And then believed that if you drilled a hole through the earth that you'd come out in what was then Peking, China. And he was very off because it's not even the same hemisphere. It's the same hemisphere. So that's like really off. And it could have been all the incest that produced
what a genius
such a stupid man. And then the town was founded.
You know, Founders Day, Queen Creek, Arizona. Founders Day, Burleson, Texas. Founders Day, City of O'Fallon, Missouri. Wow. Founders Day, Wisconsin Alumni Association. No, that's
a college.
New Albany Founders Day, home. Maybe it's a thing some places, but
maybe it's
never a place I've been or lived. So now he's like, you got to go back to the ley lines.
One of us has to go back, do the ley lines, do the Founders Day. And he's like, I'd really prefer
it needs to be any other Penhallow.
It would be
he's
great.
Like, it's not going to be. It's going to be you, even though you are the fuck up of the family, and I hate your whole face.
Yeah.
So he does go back to Penhallow, and like we get this scene with
Starsboro,
with Gravesglen, yeah, which is now like a spooky Halloween town.
It is. It's in the mountains of Georgia.
Yeah,
and it's got a college that is for witches, but it's like half for witches regular, and like half for regulars. Witches. But like the witches part is like hidden from the regulars. Yeah. And our girl, whose name is Vivian, teaches at that college now, but to the regulars because she's just like not that into the witchy stuff because she finds them to be very stuck up.
Yeah, stuck up and like too many scarves, she says.
A lot of stuff.
It's a whole thing over
I love
there.
it. I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
She's like, they're too serious for me. I can't stand it over there.
It's too much. Well, because she grew up as a muggle, even though her mom was like a big fancy witch that could witch so hard, but she was like a little bit afraid of witchery. So
she didn't get told she was a witch until older. What Reese later calls the full Potter.
The full Potter. I loved it. I loved it, Erin Sterling.
Loved it.
What a great idea. So they do like a tarot card reading because they're trying to figure out which Penhallow is coming.
They find out that a Penhallow is coming.
Right. And so Guinevere, her cousin Gwyn, is like, I'm going to do a tarot card reading on you. And it's a reading of cards that she personally painted. And it's all modeled after people in her life. And so the very first one she does is like, it is the Fool, right? And it's literally Reese walking off a cliff. Hilarious.
With like sunglasses and like mussed hair, just like very coolly in his leather jacket, just like stepping right off a cliff, which I loved.
I loved it. And then it's like the Star, which is her. And then like a something else, which is like, it's definitely him coming.
I think it was the Tower. If I remember correctly.
It was. Because it was the split cabin. The aunt's cabin was split in half. Aunt Elaine. So anyway, they're like, fuck us sideways. It is going to be Reese who's coming. Great. Thanks. So now she's driving down the road. It's real
I just
dark.
want to say something. I'm sorry. I should have said it moments ago.
Oh my God. Tell me at any moment. This is your podcast.
But the significance of the tower is it's always like some kind of building that's like falling apart or on fire or getting hit by lightning. And oh my gosh, these tarot girls are going to come for me and be like, that's not it. Remember when I said that the courage card meant courage or strength meant strength? Strength meant courage or whatever, that lion card. And I was like, oh, they're going to come for me. It's like, yeah, that is what strength does mean strength. Anyway,
No, they came for you to be like, yeah, Erin, you're so fucking insightful and right.
And it was a stupid fear. And here I am again with my stupid fear. But what
Listen,
the
you
tower
remember that
card...
time, the one and only time you've pulled a card for me, and it was like the best, most needed thing you've ever done in your whole life.
Spot on. It was so
like,
spot on.
To the point that I thought you made it up for a minute, and then I was like, Erin would not do that to me. It's real.
No.
It's real.
Mm-hmm.
It's cosmic.
It was real.
It was real. Oh my God.
So, anyways, the tower is like... everything is burning down or falling down or like crumbling.
Not great.
But I mean, that's the first glance of that card. But the significance of it is that everything has to be destroyed for new growth or new thing. Like, we've got to burn this down.
Oh shit, that's spot on.
This old bad thing for this new thing to like exist.
Erin, the tarot reading that happened at the start of this book is spot on for what
I know, that's why I wanted to
to
say it out loud.
Book.
I know.
That's
Tower's one of my
incredible.
favorite cards. It's just like, set it the fuck on fire and start over is the tower.
Whoa.
Anyway.
Whoa. That's deep.
Anyways.
It's a lot.
Cheers. Okay.
Shit. Oh, hey, HBs. I don't know if you've heard, but we have a Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you get over 150 bonus episodes, most of which include Erin, videos of regular episodes, author hangouts, and so much more. Do you want to hear Erin and I recap every single episode of Crash Landing on You? What about a little film called Psycho Stripper? Do you want more recaps of ridiculous Thanksgiving and other holiday books and movies? And how do you feel about Naima Simone and I recapping amazing reality TV? All of that and more is on the Patreon. There's so much content at your fingertips as soon as you sign up. Seriously, hours and hours. Anyway, it's patreon.com/Heaving Bosoms Podcast if you want to check it out. And of course, that link is in the show notes. Keep being a badass. Okay, so now Reese is there, and he's decided that instead of using a regular, very convenient traveling stone, he was going to fly the whole way and then rent a car and then drive in the traffic and do all the business.
Right.
But he's having, like, the worst day in the whole wide world. And that culminates with him, like, his tire blowing out, and he can't do anything. And he tries to create a light, and it does set, like, a tree on fire or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, fuck, I don't know what to do. And then a car comes. And he's like, oh, great. Hey, neighbor, I do need a neighborly ride. And that car does almost hit him. And so he jumps off an embankment. Roll down the hill. And then a person comes over and he's like, oh my God, I would know those curves and that sexy voice anywhere. That is Vivian.
In her polka dot dress with the patent leather belt.
Oh my God. Her black dress with her orange polka dots.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes over and she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't even see you there. And then, like, the engine wouldn't do the thing where it stops and stuff.
And then she figures out who he is, and she is not sorry. She wishes that she would have hit him harder with her car, actually.
Right. She's like, I wish I hadn't swerved.
He's, like, in the dirt. She's, like, he's, like, fallen in the mud on the side of the road.
Good.
She's like, ha,
so
that's great. I'm so glad that I hit you. And he's like, can I have a ride? And she's like, no, you can't.
Also, go fuck yourself.
Goodbye.
But I will say that at some point during this conversation, she is on top of him because I do believe she falls on top of him.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. I just need listener to know that
it kind of matters.
Tummy to tummy, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's when she sees his, like, beautiful face.
Yeah.
Boobs to chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vag to dick.
In case you were wondering,
hotter.
Cheekbones, good.
Oh my God.
Sculpty.
Cheekbones good. Hair does a swoopy.
Bone structure has got it.
I think he's got those blue eyes.
The hair, she sees immediately the hair is doing the swoopty that she specifically cast magic for it not to do.
Right? Like, that's all I asked. I asked
so
for
she knows
one, maybe two things.
For certain that the curse that she did when she was 19 where all the candles, you know, she's always worried because all the candles went, you know, blah, blah, and the wind and everything. She knows that there's no way it worked because his hair looks great.
His hair is fucking fabulous. Mm-hmm. Okay. So she like tromps up the thing and he's like, can you give me a ride? And she's like, no.
Nope.
Fucking walk.
And she leaves.
And then she leaves. And it was such a baller move. Mm-hmm. There, I said it. Mm-hmm. I said my lexicon.
Because I was like, we're going to get a car ride now. We're going to get a snipey car ride. You know? Mm-hmm. Nope.
She just fucks off.
Erin Sterling says no.
Yeah. And so the next day is Founders Day. And the mayor comes in and she's like, where the fuck is that founder? I need him to do Founders Day bullshit. And for a moment, she's like, oh my God, did I kill him?
I killed him. He got eaten by Georgia wildlife out in the world. Oh my, what could have happened? Oh, but it turns out he's just late, like always.
Because he's had a morning. Because everything bad is going wrong for him. And he's also like, what the fuck is a welcome booth? I don't understand Founders Day.
It makes sense.
Which, fair. So then he does his speech. And then as he's coming off the stage, the head of a statue that is way, like, too far away and nothing is around it and nothing moved around it, the head just detached from the statue and came a-tumbling at his brain.
Mm-hmm. But he did a duck and a dodge and a weave, and he got away.
Yeah. But he's like, I thought I was just having, like, a spot of bad luck, but now... Mm-hmm. This feels like too many near-death experiences for one 24-hour period.
Right.
So he goes into the witch shop that her family owns.
Called Something Wicked. I love it.
So good. And he's like, do you have yourself a scrying mirror? Mm-hmm. And they're like, no. And then Vivi goes, oh yeah, I've got one tucked away somewhere that I randomly found at an antique shop and never thought I'd need again. Whoa, fate.
Fate.
So, boy, they get that scrying mirror, and he does old-timey witch call up his dad, and his dad is like, you dumb dummy. No Penhallow man could possibly be cursed, especially by
a hedge witch, a little shit hedgy witch. Yeah, and he's like, she's not a hedge witch. She's a good witch.
She's a big, powerful witch of the Georgian mountains.
Witch. Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
She comes from a lineage of Georgian royalty. Probably. So anyway, so she... Oh, fuck me. Sorry. It's a mess over here. What did
Melody have? Why? What happening? Because, guys, friends, Melody just adjusted her headphones, and then when she took one off, a 10-year headphone fell out from underneath. What the fuck?
I am doing a tiny monitor on my child because I'm worried she broke her arm when I know for a fact she didn't.
I just can't believe that you're doing that. Okay.
It's so weird. It's weird.
I was just going to make fun of whatever like weird headphone setup that you'd made where you're like, this one's better for listening, but this other one's better for this. But apparently you're doing two full things at one time.
This is literally my life.
Well, actually, I'm actually just like, I'm listening to like, I'm jamming out to some music.
Just like
in
oldies.
One.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, actually, I'm listening to the book as we go in one headphone, and in the other one, I'm podcasting live about it.
God, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
you're going to hit every detail.
Yeah,
really.
So we need to slow down.
We really do. We have hours to go, listener.
This is a 7-hour book. Okay, let's just slow our roll a little bit.
Yeah, we really need to.
Okay, so
anyway, he's like, hey girl, hey. Do you want to go charge those ley lines with me? You didn't remember when we were fucking 9 years ago when we were really hot teenagers? You did say you wanted to like see what those ley lines were about. So like if you want to come, you know, just let me know and I'll be a really cool guy about it. And she's like, I don't want to do anything with him, but also this is like the honor of honors to be able to see the ley lines that all the magic of Graves Glen comes from and shit.
She's a history teacher. She's a history professor.
She's a history witch.
This is something that's kind of interesting to her.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So she's like, yeah, let's definitely go.
Oh, and also her thesis or whatever was like the history of his family.
In Wales.
And like there was another thing she did. Anyway, but this is particularly interesting to her. Whew, that was rough how she did like base all of her studies around Wales and also like his family. Ew.
Real weird.
Do that research on your own non-public time, ma'am.
Right?
Don't make that like your declared major.
Jesus Lord. He could have Googled that any time.
It's awkward.
Good thing he's bad at Google.
Yeah.
So anyway, they go up there and they have like some sort of talk on the way up, but I don't really think it matters all that much.
Mm-hmm.
But then they do go into that cave, and he's very like, I can feel the magics, but I do wish that I had looked at that map my dad did draw with like ink that was made from raven's blood.
Yeah. He's like, he drew me a whole map, and now I'm like real lost. I wish I would have looked at it. Oh my God.
And Vivian's like, is there a secret passageway right there that you're missing? And he's like,
of course it is.
Look, we found it. It's
Found
great.
it.
You and I together, teamwork.
He saunters toward it in his sauntery way, slinks around.
Oh, God, he's such a hot slinky man. So the ley lines are like on the ground, and she can see like purple magic flowing, and it's so fucking cool. And she's like, oh my God. But then they walk into the room, and they both, it's a horny
It's a sex
cave.
planet in there.
It's a sex planet in
Remember
there.
Sex Planet? That's what it is in there.
I will
it's
never
like
be
a
able
horny,
to forget Sex
a
Planet.
horny spell. And
It's a horny.
he was like, this is normal. Like, spells always have some kind of like a reaction. Some spells make you inexplicably sad. Others make you laugh and you don't know why. Like, they always pull on your emotions in some ways. And some spells make you horny. Like, it's
just make you
And
hard.
my dad didn't tell me that this was a horny spell.
Right.
For obvious reasons.
It's interesting that it is a horny spell, because now I understand why everybody does this alone.
Yeah.
But now I'm with my ex-girlfriend who I never really stopped loving, nor did I stop Googling. And she's still hot as fuck. And I kind of don't know what to do with myself.
Accusing me of taking her to the horny spell on purpose.
Oh my God. So they're together, and he's like, oh, Vivian. And she like walks up to him, and he's got his hands on her hips and shit. And she's about to kiss him. And then all of a sudden she like gains her faculties back, and she pushes him away. And she's like, are you fucking serious?
Horny spell.
You brought me to the horny sex cave so that you could seduce me, Reese? Is that what you did? And he's like, no, I didn't know about this. Let's just do the thing and get done. God. So then he goes over the ley lines, and he's got his fingers over them, and he's whispering some words or whatever. And then the ley lines like get real purple, but then they're start going like black and angry. Yeah. It's like and
then they slither. And they slither towards them. They slither out toward the town. They've got to like run away.
And then there's like this ripple effect of magic, this bad magic that like goes all the way down the hill to Graves Glen, and it like covers all of Graves Glen. Mm-hmm. And they're like, that could have been totally casual, right?
That's fine. It's fine.
So that was nothing.
Tell no one.
It's not. But
Let's
then on
pretend.
the way home,
it's fine. Yes.
They get a call from Gwyn, and all we see on the page is Reese reacting to Viv being like, what? It's bad. Huh? We'll be there in 2 minutes. And then he's like, is it that bad? And she's like, it's worse. And then she like guns it real hard. And when they get there are 3 frightened teenagers against one wall. Mm-hmm. And Gwyn is up on the counter of the shop. And all of the little plastic devil skulls have come to life and are trying to eat everyone's ankles.
I truly loved when they walked into the magic shop and there were all these little skulls on the ground. They all had their mouths open. And then they all, in unison, snapped toward Reese and Vivian when they walked in. That was hilarious. And
it was so good.
Wonderful. Anyway, so they get rid of these skulls. It's no big deal. It's fine. The teenagers leave or whatever.
Yeah, Reese talks him out of thinking everything's magic and bad.
Yeah.
But now they're like, so
this thing happened.
Like,
I don't know if it's related, if I have nothing to do with it.
Curse on you. Mm-hmm. Is all. It was like a joke?
You might be cursed.
You know?
I don't know. It's fine. Listen. It's just a joke. I have some hot takes about the curse.
Tell me everything.
Now, I know that when we know all, it's not really necessarily Vivian's curse in specific that has caused the whole thing. Mm-hmm, you know what I mean? It's more like the spirit of her curse has caused the whole thing and not
it's like the spirit of her curse is like the ship that takes the crew there, and the crew is way more mad than Viv is.
Right. So, you know, she talks about like, okay, his hair's clearly doing the thing. So that didn't take. And then they say something to the effect of like, well, that's not how curses work. The little particulars aren't. That's not, you can't curse a hair. That's not how that works. It's more
you can't curse somebody to only have diarrhea for the rest of their life. Right. You might say that out loud. Right. But it's going to be all the other shit that happens to them and not the shit that you want to happen.
Then, like, and the other thing, the clitoris thing, we find out very not true.
We find out everybody's fine.
Knows exactly where that is.
Yeah.
It kind of throughout the book, every time they get close to hooking up or something, some shit goes wrong. So I thought that maybe the vagina portion of the curse, that he can't get in there.
The darkening the door.
Was the thing that maybe was the thing that took, you know? And then like every time he got close, they like got close to having sex. That's when everything kind of went haywire. In the cave, in the library, in the haunted house, in the, you know, like every time this kind of happened. And so I kind of thought that was going to be the thing in the end, and it wasn't. But then that made me think like, I really wish the other particulars of the curse were true.
Had happened?
Yes. Wouldn't it have been so funny if he showed up and he was like so hot except for like his hair was
If he just had like static electricity hair?
Yes. Wouldn't it have been so funny? And then also he just like hasn't found a clitoris in 9 years. Like there's something so funny to me about like a competent, good romance hero who's just like, why?
She's like, God damn it. I love making women come.
And I almost wish that like, you know, because they bring up the clitoris part like 50 times in this book. Yeah. Like it's the joke amongst the girls. Like I kind of wish it was mentioned in the prologue and then never again until like he tries to play her like a bagpipe later. Like, oh, and she's just like, oh my God, I cursed myself. I wish it would have been, and then it made me wish that it was like that. I think it would have been that would have funny.
Been super funny.
I loved it as is, but...
And then at the end, they could have been like, oh my God, the curse is lifted.
It's lifted.
You need to finger me right now.
I can darken your vagina and finger you like a bagpipe. Spooky music. Spooky bagpipe.
Oh yeah, spooky bagpipe. Okay.
All right.
So now they're
Welsh
like
bagpipe. Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, and so
Welsh
now he's like
songs.
I don't know anything about
we
Wales.
both started that with such confidence and stopped so fast. Nope. Don't know it.
All I know about Wales now is that, boy, do they love dragons.
Did they love a dragon?
Until this book. Wow. I mean, I get that. So now he's like, okay, well, we need to fix this curse then, yeah? And so he's like, I should call my dad, but I'm super not going to because that sounds like actual torture, like worse than being cursed, is to like tell my dad what's going on here.
Well, he wouldn't believe him anyway.
Yeah, his dad is such a dick. So the next morning, Viv comes to her Aunt Elaine's house. And Aunt Elaine has made, like, sticky buns for him, and he's, like, Mr. Charmosaurus Rex to everybody.
He does some, like, licking off of his hands of the cinnamon bun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Gwen still calls him Dickbag and Dickbag only. Also, the cat talks now, I think.
Yeah.
And all it says is, treats!
Treat, 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 treat. I listened to the audiobook, and it was fantastic.
Really?
The treat. The inflection of treats was very funny. Very well done.
That's really good.
And she didn't even, I loved this, did not even attempt a Welsh accent. Just said a hard no and just let it blow by like it never happened.
Good
loved
for
it.
her.
Yep.
That's really the way to go.
I know. I was so proud of her for that.
Yeah. Okay, so now Aunt Elaine is like, I'm sorry, why are you all dressed up? What's going on? And Vivian's like, I'm not dressed up. I'm going to work. And she's like, you're going to work? We've got a curse to break and shit. And Vivian's like, I'm not going to figure out how to break a curse in an hour. And like, I have class, so we gotta go.
There's a library at work.
Yeah, there's a library. It's a witchy one.
A witch library.
And Reese is like, oh, I would absolutely join you and go on this witch quest to the library and figure shit out. And it's great. And so he's like, oh my gosh, she's so hot walking around in her low heels and like snapping at me. She's just so hot.
What did she say in her class that was so funny? God, now I forget. She had a slide that she presented to her class that just had one word, and it was so stupid and funny, and now I can't remember what it was.
Oh, no, it wasn't a slide. She was doing her lecture notes on the feudal system, and there were 2 bullet points, and one of them just says, peasants?
Question mark.
All caps,
Peasants? Oh, I loved it. It was so funny. That's Heaving Bosoms energy right there.
It really is.
Romance?
What?
Okay, so then they go to the library, and the library, you guys, is colder than usual.
It's super cold.
Is
cold as shit.
Spookier than usual,
so
even though it is a little bit
feel like yucky in their tummies.
Spooky, but it more spooky. You know, it's
and
weird.
So he does a big research for like an hour while she's in class, and then she comes back and she does a big research with him too. And then toward the end of that, I think she says something about like not remembering their liaison or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Do you not remember how good we were together?" And she's like, "No, I've slept with so many men since then. So like, not a big deal. Like you should have really worked to be more memorable."
Specifically the kiss.
Yeah, the kiss, yeah. And so he's like, "Shall I?"
Wait, they're in a study room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. It's not like they're in my brain. Yeah, they're not in the big library portion.
No.
They're in a study room.
Yeah. So he's like, "Shall I remind you?" And then she goes right up to him, like right up to his face. And she's like, "Yeah, I triple dog dare you," basically.
Yeah.
And she does it sexier, though, you know?
Yeah. It's always just, as a rule, sexier than what we're doing.
It's going to be sexier than the energy we're bringing.
Unless, I mean, there are a couple that probably weren't as sexy as the energy that we're bringing.
Undoubtedly.
But like,
you know,
I would say 98% of the time, the book is going to be sexier than the energy we're putting out.
Most
so anyway,
definitely.
they snurfle hard on that desk.
They snurfle. Woo! And it's getting to the point where like she's undoing his shirt and he is thinking about undoing whatever.
He gets up under her dress. She does figure out that curse was not true in clitoris finding.
Yeah, he knows. Boy, does he find that bean. Yeah. So then
pushes on it real hard, does a little circling.
This is a honk.
Rings that doorbell.
Oh my god.
Hey HBs, I started an Etsy store. Did you know? Right now, it's full of all the St. Vincent items you need. Because St. Vincent is thoughtful and cozy all year round. We've got a book sleeve to keep your books, planners, e-readers, or really anything else safe when you're on the go. The inside is fuzzy, and they feel so incredibly lush in your hands. I went round and round with the manufacturers to make sure I had just the right thickness. Those feature art of St. Vincent and Evie during their carriage adventure that was painted by the amazing Mayara Faraz on one side, and then I created a St. Vincent Would Always wreath on the other side that has a bunch of little Easter egg items in it. There's a St. Vincent Would Always warm brick enamel pin. It's like, you know, if you know, you know. I designed a special edition Marriage of Convenience candle that is specific to Devil in Winter, with the help of HB Jen at Post Pouring Company. It combines dark amber for St. Vincent and rosewood for Evie, and it smells so delicious. It's hard to even wrap my brain around. So if you want to treat yourself or be the St. Vincent you want to see in the world by getting a care package for a friend, check out our Etsy store. The link is in the show notes.
So then, see, this is the thing. As soon as he rings Satan's doorbell, they start hearing screaming in the library because something's happening. And I was like, he was about to darken that vagina.
He was going to darken it so hard.
So then they go out there and there's this crazy ghost from the 90s, which I really appreciated that this was just like a straight up 90s ghost. Like,
yes. Chuck Taylor's Nirvana shirt.
We're getting to the point where like, where that's old-timey ghost.
Grunge ghost. Grunge ghost.
A while ago
Grunge ghost. Yeah.
She is wearing a Nirvana t-shirt, I do believe, because later they compliment her on it. But she is freaking out. She's screaming at Reese. and I forget how that ghost does fly away, but like nearly.
Wait, no. So it seems like the ghost is like pawing at a book. She's getting really upset because her hand keeps going right through it. But then she can materialize enough to turn on Reese, get like scary gaping ghost scream eye things, and then just like hammer him across a room and into a bookshelf, almost breaking some ribs and shit. And then she's
yelling his last name at him. Penhallow.
Penhallow is what she's doing. And then she does fuck off.
Yeah. I don't remember how she fucks off, though.
I don't super remember either.
Yeah. But it's done. Really, it's not. Reese is okay. But gosh, is there a ghost on the loose? So they get called to the principal's office, basically.
Right. The witchy principal's office.
Well,
and she's like, you need to fucking fix this.
Fix it.
Fix
with the ghost, because you did that. Okay?
Yeah. Which is also like, is that how you would react as the headmistress of a witch college?
I don't know. Gosh,
I feel like I would circle the wagons.
I need at least like a couple of weeks to really noodle on how I want to act when I'm the headmistress of a witch college, because you really got to pick a direction and go with it hard. And I don't want to like, I don't
you can't rush it. I get it.
I don't want to do a knee jerk of what I would be like. I need some time to cultivate that personality. I also forgot that before she went to her class, she went up to the librarian and was like, hey, this is my research assistant. Can he be in the library while I'm teaching class? They give him like a plastic lanyard and an ID that just says like guest. And he's like, well, this is kind of a shitty idea. For a witch college. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry that I didn't scratch your name on vellum with a raven's quill. And he's like, well, I didn't need vellum, but like a quill would have been, like Jesus
there
Christ.
There could be a quill hanging about.
I'm a Penhallow. Like, how dare you?
Can I get a wax seal up in here? Jesus.
I love his energy. I love it.
Especially since he hates all of the nonsense that his dad does, which is all like, you must wear warlock robes in the house and stuff.
But he
and
wants
I'll only
a
talk
little
to you
bit of
via
pomp
mirror.
and circumstance. He doesn't like it when his leather jacket gets dirty. He has an image.
I love him.
And like that shitty lanyard destroyed it. Like he looked like a bozo with it on, and he didn't like it.
It's true. And I'm sorry, Erin, I'm gonna die on this hill, and you can fight me if you want. Every time he was like, what thing that my hair does? I was like, you know the thing, sir.
I love that he knows the thing that his hair does and he won't cop to it. I love it. I love that he just won't.
Yeah. So, anyway, now they decide that they're gonna... What do they do now?
I think now they've got to go trap that
Elaine.
Ghost. So they go... She's gonna like go get that candle to get that ghost, right?
So she gets a visit from a new professor, big quotation marks, from the witchy department that she's never seen before and is wearing jeans.
She's just like a regular lady, and she's like, wow, maybe the witch department is like better
actually
now, because
I
thought they were like pretentious and shitty and like never wore jeans and never were cool, and this lady's like cool and like we'll talk to her like an equal and stuff. And she's like, hey,
do have this Eurydice candle.
Have a Eurydice candle. It's made from the fat of the man, the whatever,
the ghosties of
it's a black flame candle, whatever.
And so you can go trap this ghost.
Go ahead and trap this ghost. And
Great
then
idea.
Like after that, did she say
just
she's
give it
gonna
to
take it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's
and
like,
then
I'll
take it off
right back to the
and then
witch
we'll
department.
put it on the shelf with all the other ghost candles.
Right.
Fine.
Just a very casual closet that we have that does hold all the bound ghosts.
All the human souls are in there.
Right. And so she texts him like an address at midnight, and she's like, come to this place. And he's like, is it a booty call? Like, he's very excited about this.
I love him.
I know. And then he gets there and she's dressed like spooky Lara Croft, and he's like, oh no, I think you might be here to murder me, ? Like, what's actually happening? And so she's like, no, we're just gonna go trap this ghost. Let's
Small
go.
quest.
Yeah,
teensiest
quest.
We're gonna go to the haunted house where the girl was, where her altar was. We're gonna go find that altar, and then we're gonna suck her into this candle.
I'll just do a lighter on this
do
candle.
a lighter, and that's how I
slurp her
understand
right up.
that they do work. Can I tell you a story about Halloween Wars on the Food Network?
Every time,
I don't know if this is going to be funny, so you can cut it if it's not. I don't know. But I lost my shit. My friend Christine was over and we were watching Halloween Wars. Are you familiar? Well, usually they have a sugar person and a cake person and a pumpkin person. Well, this year, everyone's just a cake person. And, like, some people can do sugar, I guess. Like, it's just like every other show. And then it's hosted, quote unquote, by, like, a dude that's on Ghost Adventures or something. But he's not even there. He's, like, on a TV. And he has, like, some haunted museum that sounds real sus that's certified haunted, quote unquote. It's bullshit this year. But, like, we have a tradition of binging Halloween Wars together, and so we just decided to just muscle through it.
You gotta stick with it, yeah.
But one of the challenges, so the idea, like, okay, the purchase of this show, like, I'm sorry, I'm getting mad about it again. So...
The premise?
So, like, the buy-in, like, it's to believe this guy has a museum of Halloween haunted artifacts, and then, like, every... competition is based on, like, this spooky doll who's got a soul in her of, like, a thing, make a cake like it or whatever. There's a cake competition where they were like, here's your spooky artifact from his spooky museum that has a human soul in it, put it in your cake.
What?
I don't want to take this old crusty cutting board that has a soul in it and stick it in my cake. No.
We have to put it in the edible cake?
They have to use it in their cake design. I lost my shit. I'm like, either one of these two things is true. We're supposed to just not believe that this guy is anything and he's a liar and he's charging admission to his museum for bullshit, crusty old bullshit that doesn't have human souls in it.
Yeah, or
I believe that this shit that they're shoving into their weird Halloween cake has somebody's grandma in it. Stop it. Stop! I got so mad. I had to, like, do a lap. I got real mad about it. Like, in a way that was
I'm already mad that they don't have pumpkin people. What the fuck?
I
don't care about sugar
that's
people.
A whole other thing that I can't even...
That's the thing that makes Halloween Wars Halloween Wars.
I think what they've done is they've made another show that's just for pumpkin boys. But the pumpkin boys is what makes it fun because, like, those boys aren't food boys. They're, like, electricians and shit. Yeah. They just have chainsaws, and so they don't really fit in with the bakery people, and they're like artists, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't even talk about the pumpkin thing. The other thing, the human soul's just, like, shoved into cake designs with, like, Pugsley from the Addams Family. It just blew my mind. I couldn't do it.
It's so mean.
Yeah, and it just reminded me of this closet of candles, just inhabiting, with human souls inhabiting.
The Penhaven soul closet. is where they're at.
The outburst I had on this was not rational or equal to the energy of the show or the hang, and it was rough. It was rough.
Oh, I wish I had been there. Okay, so they go in there and they do almost get caught by a kid who's cheating in her class, and, like, he's trying to hook up with this girl
or something. What's the kid's name?
Yeah,
It's something weird.
Is his name. Yeah, it's right. And so then she does a magic. Oh, because they're just out of the city limits because his curse has sort of transferred into the town. So now, like, hijinks are happening in the town, including but not limited to somebody's Viagra potion working on their whole body.
Yes, making them all the way hard, like in Harry Potter when they're all petrified. Yeah,
yeah. So, Petrificus. No,
Petrificonum. So then, when they go to the house, it's outside the city. These two are hooking up. So Reese, because he's such a horn dog. It's like, oh my God, they're going to see us. She's like, oh no, they're going to see us. And he's like, what if we just pretend we're also here to hook up and we just start making out and then they'll just think we're here for that instead of to trap the soul of a lady. And she's like, that doesn't, no, I don't want my students to think that I'm here at the hookup place to hook up. And also, like, if we're just here, they're not going to assume we're here to trap the soul of a lady. Like, just chill out, man. Because at first I thought that the author was going that way, and I was like, this isn't believable. And it's like, no, just Reese was going that way.
Goodness, he was trying so hard.
So then he's like, let's hide in the tiniest closet we can find.
Let's get in that closet. And so they're, like, pressed up against each other. He does a snurfle on her neck, and she's like, I do love that snurfle. Yeah. But then the kiddos outside are like, we can't hook up here. I can't put my penis in you here. It's
no,
a bit
it's her.
spookier than
He's
I thought.
very much like, let's get this penis in here. And she's like, no, it's spooky and weird and like stinky and dark. And he's like, but isn't it like kind of hot and like a haunted? And she's like, well,
dangerous?
I guess it only lasted like a couple of minutes last time. So like, maybe we can do it. It's so good.
Oh, it's so good. So he's like, let's explore. And she's like, oh, shit. So that's what stops them that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so she like does a magic to do like a bang and a creak and a frame fall situation. And so they run out screaming. And then she realizes that they're standing in the altar. The whole closet is this bitch's altar.
I also truly loved the moment where they were gone. So they've been schnurfling a little bit.
Yeah.
But the two kids, they're gone. And they're still in that closet. Like, neither of them are like, they're gone, we can leave. They're just like, oh, well, what's next?
We just
what now?
We're just our pelvises are just pressed together, and I don't know what to do.
What should happen?
What could we possibly?
But the altar is the closet that they happen to be schnurfling in.
Yeah. So they light that candle, and they very begrudgingly go out to the living room to await the impending haunting.
Yes.
And she does coalesce into the middle of the room, and she's like, Penhallow, must give back what you have taken.
You took the thing that you shouldn't have taken, and I'm like,
yeah,
what
and she's
could
like,
it be?
he
Is
didn't
it
even
like
take
her
my
heart
virginity
or something. And then she says, yeah, virginity, no. Because again, we weren't working with 16-year-olds here. Right. And then she's like, the thing that you took, you shouldn't have taken, and it wasn't yours to begin with. So I was like, her heart? But no, his heart was hers to begin with.
Hers.
His. Hers.
Well, and her heart was like, either way, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and I was just like, what is the deal? And but then she does get sucked into that candle.
Yeah, and so the mystery is unsolved.
All right.
You know.
Bye, Vicky. What was her name?
Vivian? No.
The candle lady. Piper,
Patricia. I was going to say Piper. It's a good one. And I think it's a Charmed reference.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Isn't one of those sisters named Piper?
Yes, one of those sisters is named
something.
Piper.
Pipette?
The lame one. The old lame one who's always like,
the lame one with the dead eyes.
Yeah. Never got another acting job after that.
No, ma'am. She couldn't. Okay, so now they go back to the aunt's shop because she's like, I'm not bringing this fucking creepy lady candle into my house. It's just not going to happen. So they're in that shop. And then it's all in the back room of the shop is magic. And so the aunt has like set it to be like the Great Hall in Harry Schmotter's. And so it like changes with the atmosphere outside. So in the night times, it is stars above you, and it is a crackling fire, and it is a mood, and there's probably a bearskin rug that like rolls out.
It's very like, I love this vibe. Did you set up this vibe for me? Because you knew that a date? We would be coming back here. It's like, no
worries. What are you talking about?
Why do you assume everything is for sex with you? I love it.
I mean, me too. I love it. Keep slinging that energy at me.
Yeah. Wait, don't they get the candle back first? No?
Yeah, they have it. They're going to go put it in the shelf. And I thought there was going to be hijinks now because she puts it in a cabinet full of candles. She puts the Eurydice candle in a cabinet full of candles.
But they don't give it back to the lady yet?
No.
Okay.
No, it's like 3 a.m.
They snurfle up. They start talking about old times, and he finger bangs her on that couch, right?
No, I know, but I'm trying to remember the lead up to it. There's like a significant lead up where he's like, it's not as significant.
Is this the one where he's like, should I try saying it now? Is that this one?
Yeah.
It's so good. She says something about how she was like head over heels for him back then. Oh, that's why.
What's up?
That's why. Because when the sisters told him about the curse, he didn't realize how heartbroken she had been. He knew that she was angry. And he said something like, you were angry. I didn't know like she was heartbroken. And the sister, or I keep saying the sisters, but it's a cousin and an aunt, were like, oh yeah, because no one's ever been heartbroken and angry at the same time. Like, geez. And so now he's been thinking about it because he just didn't know that it meant to her what it meant to him. And she's been very embarrassed this whole time because she doesn't want him to know that he broke her heart so thoroughly that she created a curse that is like cursed now the whole town. And like that's very embarrassing for her. So they were kind of talking about that, where he's like, hey, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that I broke your heart, you know? And just so you know, like, I was really crazy
mad
about you too.
Right.
Like,
and then he's like, actually, I should amend that because I don't think I ever stopped being crazy about you. So should I, like, try to talk about that now?
Say it in the present
and she's
tense
like,
instead.
Okay. And he's like, Vivian, I am absolutely mad about you. It never stopped. Like, la, la, la. And then he says something to the effect of, and if you give me the opportunity to make you come tonight, I will consider myself one of the luckiest men on the planet.
Hot.
Hot. And then he does finger bang her into oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, what more do you want?
And then the next day they have to, like, talk to her family in that room, and she keeps, like, trying not to look at the couch. I very much like that. Okay, so then they do give that candle back to that lady, right?
Yeah, she gives it. So dumb. Listen, I know I'm not, like, Columbo, I guess, is something that you will relate to and not
You're never going to let me stop. You're never going to... Listen, that was on Patreon. Like, thousands of people listening don't even know that hot take joke that you just made.
Doesn't matter because you and I know it, and this is about friendship, Erin.
Because I haven't seen Sherlock's or whatever. It's like, you gotta shame me.
So I'm not Columbo, all right, or Perrault, but I'm not fucking Matlock over here, okay? Perry Mason, if you will.
Yep.
However,
just keep it going. Make fun of old Erin. Hasn't she seen any shows that are current? Fine.
But I clocked this hard. I was like, she's
that the lady wasn't a real lady?
Yeah.
I didn't clock it.
And Vivian was like, oh, she's turning weird into a car park instead of into the witchery situation. And I was like, yeah, because she's not.
Oh, I missed that.
Anyway. Oh, God, where were we? Now I'm all...
She took the candle away, and now we got to do something else. Let's see. We went to the haunted house, took the candle away.
I think now they have to go get the...
Is that, like, immediately after that?
No.
Something else.
They bang before this.
No, they don't bang before that.
What?
They bang post-candle, I think.
No, they bang pre-candle.
Pre-candle?
Mm-hmm.
That pre-candle bang. It does happen.
Pre-candle bang,
and here's the thing is, like, so they go to his house and they do bang at his house.
Yeah.
But it's not like the family house, the family mansion.
So then she, like, shows up at his door because, okay, so the bitch goes off to the car park or whatever. Yes. And then the head witchery lady, the future you know, you haven't decided which way you're going to go. I haven't really decided my persona yet. Mm-hmm. And I'm not here to figure it out. You know, I'm just reminding
cultivating
you to
a whole personality for a new thing takes time.
It's going to take a minute. So she shows up and she's like, hey, what's the status with Ghosty? And she's like, I gave you the Eurydice candle back, and finds out that this lady is a scam artist and that it's a bad and that she sells witchy items to other people and she's not even a witch, that horrible woman. Mm-hmm. And so she goes to Reese's house that evening being like, woe is me, I am the dumbest. Yeah. And he's like, please come into my gothic mansion and I will chat with you about it. And so she's like, oh my God, this is
very gothic.
Terrifying is what it is. And so she sits down on the couch and she grabs this black velvet pillow that has the family crest on it. And she's talking about how they're like a complete and utter mistake. Everything about them is a mistake. Everything always goes sideways when they're together. She literally cursed the town accidentally because of them. And he's like, no, it's because of me. We together, I don't really think is a mistake. I think that, like, when I fuck it up and we're not together kind of thing is when it's a mistake. And so then she grabs that pillow and she's like, all right, well, let me do a little bit of, like, sexy magics on this. And so she turns that pillow from a foreboding family crest into this beautiful beaming Wales dragon that has purple claws. It's a red dragon with a purple claw, like her nail polish. And so he's like, oh my God, you're the sexiest redecorator I've ever met in my life.
It's such a weird thing to get turned on about, but he is.
But I love it. I love it so much. And so he goes after her on that couch, and she's like, I thought I just talked about us being a mistake. And he's like, I know, but I really feel like you're wrong about that. Have you rethought it at all? And she's like, yes, let's make out hard.
So then they go toward the bedroom, and he's like, I have to tell you something. And she's like, oh God, what? And he's like, no, it's just that the bedroom's really creepy.
It's really scary in there.
They do. Fucking that creepy bedroom that's full of creepiness and has
but it's like black satin sheets, and there's like a 4-poster canopy bed, and there's like a black crystal chandelier and shit. Man. And so then they do that sex in there, Erin. And like,
it's good.
It's a good.
Certified good.
Because he's very like, tell me what you want. And she's like, you know what I like. And he's like, no, I know what you used to like. Yeah. I want to learn you again, Erin.
Yeah.
And she's like, learn me.
Learn me.
I want that too. She just turns into the sexiest Muppet.
It's great.
And then the next morning, he's like, I did an insomnia last night, and instead of like looking at you very adoringly all night, I decided to use my insomnia and figure out where the fuck this candle is, because we can go get it and we can fix it and we can do the thing. And so they're gonna hop 2 towns over to go get that candle. So they do. And the lady who stole it is like, big mistake I made. Please take it back.
It is
Never
haunting me.
Again.
It's super evil. I hate it. Please.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Like he's ready to like charm the hell out of the situation, and she's like, take it, please.
Yeah, she's
Great.
like throwing it at them.
Yeah.
He's trying to get her to like rent a room for a few hours, you know? Yeah. She's like, no, we can't. And then afterwards she's like, God, I really wish we did that.
Yeah.
Oh, but sorry, listener, before this, they did do that fall fest I'd been talking about. Because it wasn't the next morning, it was about a week later. And they spent that week like fucking.
Yeah, it was like
awesome.
A while later. I think it took a long time to find that lady.
Well, no, they were trying other cursed stuff. They just assumed she fucked up hard.
But also they were getting very distracted by sex.
Sex times is really, I get it. So when they do this Fall Fest situation, Gwyn does a tarot card reading on him. She does a past, present, future spread. And the first one is the lovers. And they're like, yeah, okay, that was the past. Sure. And then the present is the star, because it is painted as Vivian. And then the future one is like a big black scary suit man. And he's like, oh my God, it's my dad. My dad's definitely here. He's here right now. The Emperor, thank you. And so his dad comes and he's like, okay, so I found out from your older brother that you are cursed, ? And like, I feel like I should have known that. And he's like,
I tried to tell you.
Yeah, and you told me that I was a dumbass. Yeah. So, you know, I thought I'd fix it on my own and then come home. And she, like, stands up to him because he's very, like, disdainful towards them. And she's like, hey, you might think we're, like, podunk witches who sell witchy tchotchkes and stuff, and you want to look down on that. Sure.
He says something like that.
Yeah, he does. She's like, we're also the fucking witches that cursed the uncursable Penhallows. So, like, why don't you noodle on that for a minute?
He's like, okay, well, we'll get out of your hair so you can get back to, like, selling your bullshit.
Your, like, fake cauldrons.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, I cursed your son, so, like,
yeah,
I'm a pretty good witch, so.
I've got, like, witch in my bones, you know? So, and then he's, like, got a big boner for this. He's like, oh,
Reese does, not his father.
No, not his father. His father does traveling stone the fuck out of there.
I just want to be very clear.
That
it's not the first time we've had a father-son. I guess that was a grandfather-grandson threesome on the podcast. So.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yes.
How could you ever forget about that? Every time I mention that to anyone, like you, other HBs, like anyone, everybody's like, oh, I forgot about that. How? That's the weirdest thing that happens in that book.
I don't know. There was that Minotaur breastfeeding situation.
That's not the same scene, but I understand what you're saying. It's so weird.
So, okay, so now, I'm sorry, fast forward, now they're gonna go find the candle. Now they have the candle, and now they're bringing the candle back. Because they're like, we're gonna let this ghostie out. The ghostie is gonna tell us how to fix everything.
Right.
She's gonna tell us what the fuck was taken and who took it and
all
shit.
the stuff she said.
Like, what the fuck?
So they let that ghost out.
Yeah. And she tells them that the founder of the town, the Penhallow founder, is a murderer who killed her ancestor, Vivian's ancestor, by sucking out her magic and making the ley line magic out of her corpse magic. And it is terrifyingly
and she
sad.
like thought that it was love.
She thought they were collaborating. She was like, we're gonna meld our magics together and make a super
Which
magic.
is why I feel like maybe the ley lines were horny.
Oh,
I don't know. I kept trying to find a reason why those ley lines were horny.
People.
Maybe.
I think it's like a different things for different people.
Well, because we've got another Jones and another Penhallow here, and like those ones were fucking, and like maybe these ones should be. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it's like a cosmic fucking situation. You know how I like one of those.
I know you do.
Really, any kind of fucking.
Yeah, I know you like them all.
Okay, so they're like, okay, now the only course of action is to wake up that ancestor. That's what we have to do, because the ghost tells them that tomorrow night on Samhain at midnight, that she's gonna kill everything, including the town. So like Reese is gonna die, and she's gonna obliterate that town.
Yeah, but mostly
it's a
Reese,
corrupted town,
because he's the heir of the whatever, and he's like, I'm not like super the heir though.
There are like tons of us.
There's like a lot of us, and I'm like not even the oldest of my brothers. And she's like, but you're the one
travel
that's
agent
here.
now.
You're here, so you're the one I'm gonna kill. Sorry.
Yeah. So then she drives him home, and he's being a jaunty asshole about it. And she's like, you can't joke. Because he says, I'm thinking that if I do die tomorrow, like, Viking pyre.
Yeah.
You know, send me off in a flaming boat.
She's like, you should be worried. He's like, why should we worry about something that, like, we can't. We're going to try to solve it tomorrow. If it doesn't work, I'm going to die. If it does work, I won't. But we can't do anything about it until we try to solve it tomorrow. Because they've got to do the thing at the time that the magic is the most blur on Halloween.
Yeah,
so it's like, why spend tonight being all sad about it, you know?
And she interprets this as like nothing matters to him, including me, including this,
including his own life. He doesn't care, and he's never going to care about anything. He's never going to take anything seriously.
Right. And so she's like, I gotta go. I'm gonna go back to my aunt's house. And he's like, well, I cocked it up and I don't know how.
It's like, my last night on Earth and I don't even get to fuck you? Like, this sucks.
Right? God.
Jeez.
So the next morning, he's like, I mean, I fucking love her, man. And then he talks to his older brother, his middle older brother or something. And the older brother's like, you gotta tell her that you love all of her molecules. Like, you just have to, like, say something out loud. And this has been a theme throughout the book. They just have a hard time explaining their feelings. And he, like, makes jokes instead of dealing with anything. So he's like, okay, I'm in love with her. I gotta tell her that. And he shows up at the aunt's house the next morning to tell her. Everybody's gone, except that talking cat, who does call him Dickbag, which I really like.
Yeah.
And then the aunt is like, hey, if you're here to tell her that you love her, super don't. Because she needs to, like, center herself for this very serious magic tonight. Because, like, she could die doing this. So, don't.
Fuck
and he's
off.
like,
don't fuck with her today.
Okay, fine. And then she decides that she's going to wear her orange polka dotted dress
because it makes her feel good, even though it's not a very serious dress.
Yeah. And then they go and they do summon that ancestor.
Yes.
And oh boy.
I was very concerned because I have loved this book up until this moment. She gets inhabited by that ancestor.
Right.
Who does have a conversation with Reese.
Yes.
Where she's like, listen, here's the deal. Your ancestor, who you look a lot alike, did murder me and suck out my life force to make this.
He did hoover me to death.
Yeah, and what I would really like to do is go ahead and like end this whole curse thing by then murdering you to death, and then everything will be even.
And like getting rid of his legacy, which is the town.
That would be...
Because he didn't credit her. Like, she didn't get executive producer credits. No. Nothing.
So then he's like, listen, I love the Jones Witch that you're inside of right now. And, like, I would really, really like it if we could not do it this way. If there's a way to not.
He's like, if anything, take me, kill me.
Well, she's like, what if I said I could kill you and then save everything else to include the witch I'm inside of. And he's very much like, fine, that's fine by me. And she's like, wow, you really do love her. Okay, I'll break the curse. And I was like, that's a really shit ending, Erin. Right. Like, this is a womp womp. But then the ghost lady is like, she does. She's like, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Penhallow. I can't. And then it's like, okay, then she leaves and it's like, okay, we got an hour till midnight and like, I guess I'm going to drop dead and the town's going to be gone. And now.
Yeah. And so then Vivi wakes up and she's like,
did I do it? What happened?
Yeah. She's like, did I do it? And everybody's like,
you did it, Vivi.
You're
so
not
good.
Dead. Oh my God,
Vivi, you did so good.
You were such a good vessel just now, Vivi.
But
oh my God.
We did fail, and there is going to be no more magic in the town, and we are going to go ahead and kill Reese. Understand?
Right.
So then she's like, we got to go to the cave, and we got to band our magical together. And we go to the cave, and then we recharge those lines.
Because her thing is, okay, a Penhallow fuckhead messed it up from the beginning. He tainted it, right? Mm-hmm. And so if we Jones witches all put our magics together and we take those ley lines back and we recharge them ourselves, then our ancestors should be appeased and like girls rule forever, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so they do go up to that cave and she's like, hey, Reese, you do need to stay in the car. And he's like, excellent. Please do your best to make me not die. We'll eat you out forever. Uh-huh. And so they go in there and they hold hands.
They do it.
And at this point, it's like a tainted, it's like a red sparks are coming out of this black sludge that was the ley lines. And so they muster all their magics.
It's very practical magic. Yeah. It's very like Margot Martindale just being like, let's go, girls. Like a lot of that.
We gotta do it.
It's so good. The brooms, and then it's like they're doing the brooms.
That shit.
And it's good.
Together.
They do it.
And
then Reese pops up and is like, am I not going to die? It's great.
And so then he's like, I can't wait. I'm going to tell her I love her as soon as possible, you know? And so they're driving home and he's like, you're the baddest ass witch I've ever seen witch in my life. And she's like, I am, aren't I? Like, I thought I was just this meek little muggle girl who like found out she could like squirt flowers out of her fingers. But no, I can like save towns and like save you and do all the things. So now she's like, pull over. You got to pull over right now. And he pulls over. And she's
the spot where they met on the summer solstice, and then they do car sex. I'm so sorry. We have to wrap this up, Mel.
We do. No, I know.
They do good car sex.
Yeah.
And it's great. And then she's snurfling into his neck, and he's going to tell her that he loves her. And then she's like, I'm going to miss you so much when you go. Because they'd already decided this, because he lives in Wales and he has a whole thing. He has this travel business and stuff. Now she's really anchored to the town because it's her magic that created the magic. And it's a real sad.
Yeah, and so he's fucking brokenhearted, and he's like, I'm not going to tell her now, Jesus. Yeah.
So he goes, and he leaves, and it's months.
Yeah. And then it's like Christmas tide now. It's Yule times. And she's a witch teacher as well now.
She does history of the town teaching.
Yeah, hilarious.
Which she's part of.
Yeah, and so she's walking through the witchery building, and she does see our Penhallow on one of the offices. And she's like, what the actual fuck? And so she like just barges in and there is a Reese sitting there at his...
moved to Georgia for her.
Oh my God.
And more than I would do for anyone, I think.
Right? Jesus. And so he comes over and he's like, I was so miserable. And I was like, the one thing that will make me not miserable is being with you. And so I decided to like do everything I could to be with you. I am here. I am at your service.
Move to Georgia.
Want to be with
and
you.
She's like, actually, could we move to Wales?
Right.
Because I like Wales. And he's
I
like,
do love
but
Wales.
I moved to Georgia already.
And she's like, no, we can do both because we trust each other so much and it's a good. And also traveling stones. You can wake up in Wales and go teach in Georgia. No fucking problem, you guys. Stop it. Mm-hmm. So they're like, it's going to be so hard. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's basically next door for witches. And now they're together forever and it's a great. And excellent. So, Erin, what's your lady love? Do you have one?
Yeah, I did, and I just forgot it. I just forgot it in the conversation. Oh no.
Mine is.
Oh, no.
Do you love trick or treating? If you do, my lady love. Here it is. My lady love is family costumes.
Oh.
Or coordinated
It
costumes.
has been
Maybe
before,
not.
too.
Yeah.
What are you doing this year?
I fucking love Raya. I'm going to be human Sisu. Michael's going to be a Droon. Ember's going to be Raya. And Xiaomei is going to be Namari. And it's very exciting. I got myself a purple wig. I'm probably going to wear it on the podcast in the future because why the fuck not? Yeah, so that's my lady love. Coordinated costumes with people you love.
Guys, I completely forgot my lady love.
It doesn't matter.
And it was spooky.
You know what your lady love is?
It was spooky in nature, and it was like a fall lady love, and I totally forgot about it.
We can tweet it.
What it was.
You want to know what your lady love is?
What?
Getting to dinner.
Getting to this work dinner that I have to go
Goodbye.
to. Goodbye. Spooky goodbye.
Ooh, it's the spookiest. You're gonna be so haunted when you drive to this dinner. Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.